Welcome to today's episode. This is the third episode of the Hatua Podcast. In this episode, as a continuing series, we'll be speaking about the Constitution of Kenya. In this episode, we'll be covering various topical areas around gender. We'll be speaking about the young people, the youth, popularly known as the Gen Z. And welcome to the Hatua Podcast.
Thank you, Steve. My name is Joshua Okayo, and I'm a young person. I would consider myself a Gen Z because I fall within that bracket. I'm a lawyer, and I'm soon getting admitted as an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. And I'm an active citizen. I love youth power, and I love to amplify the voices of my fellow young people in ways that maybe they cannot get to themselves. I'm happy to be here, and I hope you're going to have a lovely conversation. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ivy Kehara. I'm another lawyer in the room, but I like to specify and say I'm a human rights lawyer. And I would say I've been in the space for a while. So governance, diversity, equity, and inclusion are my passions. So I will also try and not, drown out the two gentlemen who are beside me. I will try very hard.
My name is Gitahi Geduku. I identify myself as a human rights defender, a feminist, and Pan-African person because I believe in the Black people's struggles, whether they are in the continent or in the diaspora. All these are our struggles.
Thank you very much, Daktari. And that will be the people within the discussion today. So I'd want to just start with Daktari and with your back view. What is your view on what the Constitution promised and what the current realities we have in Kenya today?
So Steve Biko, in my view, the Kenyan Constitution is not 15 years. Because there was a period of struggle before we got the new constitution in 2010. Mm-hmm. And I think why I mention this is that it's good to acknowledge the blood and sweat, the process that led us to having this constitution. It was a very painful process, and a lot of sacrifices were made. So when I'm thinking about the constitution and constitutionality, I think it's very, very important to acknowledge those who were before us pushing these struggles, those of us who are in the struggle, so that then it's not 15 years. It's a lot of people and a lot of time therein. But I think that that said, I believe strongly that we do have a very good constitution in Kenya. Compared to other countries, at least in Africa, we have a very good constitution. And why I think this constitution is good is that it offers us clarity and it offers us structures of identifying, benefiting from human rights particularly. It's quite inclusive. And recently, I loved that the constitution protected itself from assault by malicious people. So that then demonstrates beyond the document, the pillars of building that constitution are quite firm. And I want to join Kenyans in saying, in those 15 years and in prosperity, let's make it a more inclusive process where we enjoy human rights and where we work together to build a better nation. Thank you.
Thank you, Daktari. So Ivy and Joshua, so what are your current lived realities of the Constitution? Just picking up from where Daktari says it's not 15 years since promulgation. It has lived way much. The struggle has been way much longer than that. So are we currently living the reality of what the Constitution promised, or our realities are different right now?
My reality is different because one, I'm a woman, and two, I have a disability. So in terms of looking at my reality, the Constitution has delivered to some level, but not completely. And I would say probably why it hasn't is because there was no monitoring mechanism. So you say that there should be 2/3 gender, like for example in parliament and all those places, and there should be 5% of persons with disability in all public offices. None of those have happened. And one of the reasons they haven't happened is because it's this little thing called progressive realization. It's, life is hard. Who do we prioritize? There are hungry people, there are doctors. Wait in line. That has been our reality in terms of waiting in line. So because there was no monitoring framework, there's nowhere you can go and say, listen, guys, it's 15 years. Why are we unable to do that? Who are the people who are not helping us do that? You have a new disability law that has no man. We have this whole thing, the whole thing of 2/3 gender in parliament has been up, down, sideways. The political parties, very many agents who are supposed to ensure that that happens have not done it. And they can all go back to, but you see, we are trying. That's all you have to do is keep trying. So I think that's one of the things where I fault the Constitution, that it did not have, a way to monitor and be able to say, after this much, this is where you should have been. After this long, this is where you should have been.
Interesting. Joshua, the youngest and the Gen Z, what is your constitutional reality in Kenya as a young person today?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting question. And I identify with what my seniors have said, number one. And I love the fact that Daktari mentioned one of the greatest contributions of the current constitution, the Bill of Rights. I think it gives us the most freedoms that we probably may not have had foreseen before. And I wouldn't say that the Constitution itself, or rather the Constitution itself, should have delivered this much. I think it's us as the society, because all the aspirations we expressed through the Constitution were individual persons' aspirations. They were not the documents thinking, they were not the Constitution's ideas. They were Kenyans' ideas, they were Kenyans' philosophies, they were Kenyans' aspirations. And Kenyans decided that we have lived for this long with this constitution, the 1963 constitution. And the struggle, just like they said, started way back. And Kenyans said we have to find something better that can work for us, for the modern society, because we have moved from the past. We are fighting for something different. The whites have gone. We now we have multi-party democracy, but there are certain things that we still do not have. And so they said, Kenyans said, that let us make this constitution for ourselves. Now, it is us, the people, that should have, contributed to the constitution living the realities, or rather things that are expressed, these aspirations that are expressed in the Constitution 2010. Have we done that? To some extent, yes. But we've failed also greatly, almost to equal measure. And I'll take particular interest in the socioeconomic rights enshrined in the Constitution, Article 43, where every person has the right to live in a dignified manner, to earn, to go to school, and all those things. And if you look at the children's rights in Article 53, everything is provided for, that children should go to school. Right? Every child has the right to go to school. Is every child going to school? No. Why? You see, it's a failure. It's our failure as a society, that every child has a right to affordable health care, every person. There are so many other things that we are not realizing, but we have them written in some supreme document called the Constitution. All right?
Yes.
If you look at Article 37, I know it's the most mentioned article, over the 2 years now. The right to protest, the right to petition. All public offices. It's still not a right. It's like it's a privilege that you have to seek someone's consent. You have to seek authority from the police. Is that what is it provided for in the Constitution that you have to seek for consent from the police? No. That you have to be, there's all that. The Constitution provides for all these things, and whatever has not been provided for in terms of operationalization, the Constitution provides for an act that should be, passed by Parliament to operationalize that provision. You understand? Now, the failure is in Parliament. If there is any act that should operationalize any provision of the Constitution, then it means the Parliament has not done its work of operationalizing the provisions of the Constitution. And I think this points out to, recently, my fellow young people, my good friends, have gone to Parliament, or rather to IEBC, to start the recall process. And one such person is the Nairobi woman representative. And then the IEBC said that the Constitution provides for recall, but there is no procedure, there is no framework for recall. All right? Yet, that should have been done by Parliament. They have not done so. But even if Parliament has failed, the courts have come through in that sense, and they have actually determined how recall process should be done in one of the cases. So the Parliament has failed, but at least the court has come to assist, to support. So it is us, the society. Parliament is part of us. We, through social contract, elect our representatives who go to the National Assembly, who go to the Senate. We have given them the mandate to operationalize our aspirations in the Constitution, but they have failed to do that. Whom do we blame? Is it the Constitution or us?
I like how you have looked at me because I want to immediately jump in and respond. And I agree with everything that you're saying. But I asked this question. When the Constitution came in, we were all in the kumbaya, we are all happy, we trust everybody. We're feeling that we're going to trust everyone and everyone is going to do the right thing by everybody. But they have not, right? So I just wish in a lot of the things, and it's something that we need to internalize, all of us, even when we're going through referendums, all those things, we need to ask, what is the monitoring mechanism of everything that we do? So I agree with you about Parliament. And I believe that at that moment in time, we all had a trust system where we were all jumping and happy. But we are learning now, and this is, for me, a learning lesson that I think we all need to adapt, that we are not going to be in kumbaya all the time. So we need to honestly think through, if the worst case scenario happens, how do we then protect the Constitution and what it was meant to be? We should also be very clear. It is based on which government comes into play to actually help us realize the Constitution. We should look at the current government. I think it was banana and orange. They were the no. They did not vote for this Constitution. So do they have necessarily a will, even if they said they've changed their minds, because that's what everyone is saying. At heart, they did not want this Constitution. So what are we expecting from people who didn't want it? And Getahi, I have seen it, you have done. I'm passing on.
Thank you, Ivy. And I think very, 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 very important points here. Let's not forget why, always. Why did we want a new constitution? Because the more we reflect on that, the more we appreciate where we are. And the more we operationalize, just borrowing your word, so that, yes, the oversight team needs to do more work. Everyone needs to do more work. I think that we are coming from a point where we used to have detentions without trial. Such things affecting, in a very big way, basic rights and fundamental freedoms were being cured by having a new constitution. So that's why I started by saying we have a good document. Parliament has a role, but I think the bigger role is with us, Kenyans. The process of making this constitution, as I said, was quite participatory. At some point in Kenya, you had almost everyone quoting the Constitution.
Yeah.
And our friends here, lawyers, saying the law is very clear. It's right on which side they are.
Yeah.
I think my call is to us, the public, all of us Kenyans. As a former youth,
A former Gen Z.
I know that we were not fully looking at this time when they said leadership in the future. Don't get that bait. I think leadership is now. Leadership is all the time. And let's urge citizens to participate actively in implementation of this constitution. In 15 years, we should not have partial implementation. We should not have Chapter 6 shelved just because certain people have certain names, right?
Yeah.
We should not, for example, we have a budget that health got 126 or so, thereabout, billion Kenya shillings for 47 counties. But I went to Marsabit the other day, a place called Loyangalani. The hospital is closed. The doctor is there, but nothing else, just the building and the doctor. I think there is a problem there. We don't have to wait for new laws for that.
Yeah.
I think we have to address impunity, Biko.
Yeah.
This government has high levels of impunity that I can demonstrate with 2 points quickly. One is that there was an Africa Court of Justice judgments in favor of the Ogiek community,
Indigenous community.
identifying them as indigenous people, ancestral owners of land in Mao.
Yeah.
7 years down the line, simple things like acknowledging that judgment, which was one of the orders, gazetting that judgment, sitting with the community to agree on implementation has not happened. That is impunity.
Yeah.
And I think when you live in Kenya, you don't have to wait for the Ogiek to fight alone. This is our country.
Yeah.
Mau is our Mau. So across intergenerational issues, cross-sectional issues, let's stand up against impunity. It's the Ogiek today, tomorrow is someone else. The other example quickly is we got an act of parliament, Community Land Act of 2016.
2016, yeah.
That gave communal land tenure rights to indigenous people. As we speak, I think only 10% implementation or registration of communal lands. At the same time, we see government investing heavily, getting land for military, getting land for Lapsend, getting land for Lake Turkana wind power, which is in Marsabit. And the community there has no electricity. Surely, let's just implement some of these laws that we have. Let's uphold the Constitution, but let's not leave it to the politicians because they have demonstrated time and again that some of them are not very willing to implement. And lastly, I think maybe to support these conversations, I am against changing anything about our Constitution. We should first implement. We should love it, implement it properly, and have a national values on it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. I want to shift gears a bit, just picking up from where you stopped. And for some reason, there's quite a bit of sentiments in terms of our lived realities that implementation of the Constitution mostly has been moved to specific persons, legislatures, the legislature, the elite. We are fully dependent on men most of the times. However, for the citizens, I think for the first time last year, as one of us mentioned, we heard about we the people being one of the most quoted sentiments or statements that emanates from the Constitution. And this leads me to this conversation around just civic education and persons, literally just the regular normal citizen, knowing more and deeper about the Constitution, knowing that sovereign power still belongs to the people. Where do we sit? Where are our sentiments sit in terms of civic education? Does it need to be done by the elitists, the good lawyers? Does it need to be for the regular Ogiek person? Who would drive this civic education situation so that more and more people are more enlightened that wherever you are in Marsabit, in Kwale, or in Nairobi, we both are speaking the same thing or almost within the same range of wavelength around what we know around the Constitution, our civic education, our civic rights, our freedoms and everything. So perhaps I'll start with Joshua around civic education because you've been quite a good proponent. You've been everywhere in the last couple of months, actually. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Steve. I think civic education is very important at this point. And because I've been engaged in civic education for some time now, I've also, had a chance to engage with people within the CSO spaces and political spaces. Mm-hmm. And something else I'm being told is there's also need for political education. Mm-hmm. And I'm made to understand they're different.
Oh, tell us about it.
Yes, because look, not everyone, but a majority of Kenyans now know they have their rights somewhere in the Constitution. Mm-hmm. Maybe some have not even seen the document, but at least they know they have their rights somewhere. And right now, everywhere I go, I start with all sovereign power. Mm-hmm. And the moment I say all sovereign power, the people respond belongs to the people.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
And then they continue, the people shall.
Yeah.
You understand? Mm-hmm. So it means in people's heads, somewhere, they know. And I think whatever happened from 2024 and even now, what is happening has reshaped the narrative. And people, a majority of people, even those that did not believe before, now believe that they actually have power and they can do a lot and they can change the systems when and if they decide. And people are now asking, what do we do? What do we do to ensure that, sorry for this, but to ensure that this government goes home? You understand? They are so eager and they know there's something they can do. They just do not, some of them just do not know what that thing is that they can do to ensure that this rogue government goes home. Now, that tells me something.
Yeah.
They have realized that kumbe, serikali is not that powerful. The government is not that powerful. Power lies with the people. And that means if you can digest all the other provisions of the Constitution and other laws and be able to, to cascade this information down to our small communities, all right? Then it means that these people will get to understand all this information just as much as they've understood that all sovereign power belongs to the people.
Yeah.
So all sovereign power belongs to the people was a test run. And it has been proven. We have established that people can actually understand everything. You just give them time and apply in some passion. Now, the passion with which young people, I'm not, secluding any other group of people, but I'm speaking for the young people. The passion with which the young people did civic education last year. All right?
Yeah.
Doing TikTok videos. Because we also understand that the concentration, or rather the concentration span for young people is very short. So you just do 1 minute video and they watch it for 1 minute and they're like, damn, that's it. We are going. Sindio?
Yeah.
Reject finance bill, tunaenda.
Yeah.
If you do a 3-minute video on TikTok, young people will tell you, bwana, bundle zangu zinaisha, ongea haraka. And you see most videos, you find someone tells you, say for example, 3 most visited places in Nairobi. The last one will shock you. So you have to wait to watch the last one.
Yeah.
So young people don't like that thing. They will want to wait, but they'll skip. So for you to capture their attention, you have to do that, or you have to keep your video very brief.
Yeah.
I can tell you the amount of information that people got because of having videos and just short videos, having something very concrete in a short video was immense. We are used to, and kina daktari are probably used to these academic exercises where things have to be written like this huge document. I don't know what These people don't understand those things. Those documents are meant for people like Daktari, and I can consider myself, I'm also able to read and, and digest such information.
Yeah.
But for us to be able to do civic education, which is very necessary now, and this is the best moment to do civic education exercises, because we have the urge, we have the passion. People just want something to do. They want to learn as much as they can to find a way of taking this government home. Now, we have to invest in very simple ways of engaging people. We have to ensure that people get to know all their rights. We also have to talk to children. For a long time, children have been... Look, when I was part of something called Kenya Children Assembly. And I'm very sad Kenya Children Assembly died at some point. That was a very interesting avenue and platform for young people. Children having their representatives speaking for them. At that time, we were talking stuff like FGM. We were speaking about children, going to school, all these things. And I can tell you, if even children can be spoken to so that they understand their rights within the Constitution, because they also have their rights. Who is it for? Is it for the parents to only understand and implement for them? I think it is also for children. It was meant for them as well to understand that, look, you are a child, but you have your rights within the Constitution, and that you should know what you should do as a person and also what you should receive from who. Understand? So this is the best time to do civic education. For people who may not have the time to or the pleasure to, we do. Please support us.
All you have is time.
We have time. We have time, we have the energy, and we have the passion. And we want to do it as much as possible so that we do not get back to what we were 2 years ago. We have achieved some level of literacy, we have achieved some steps, and we would not want to go back there. We have to continue moving. And I quoted the Bible someday, but let me quote it again. Just like Paul in the Bible, the old is gone, the new has come. We have been given a new name, and forward we march.
Interesting. Ivy, let me come to you real quickly before I bring in Daktari. Just jump in. Civic education.
Yes. Right? One of the things that he has said that I totally agree with is relevant information for different ages and different generations. And the reason I would like us to start with the children now is because the children then become adults. So let's not wait until someone is 18, then you're introducing and saying, hi, there's civic education and there's political education. I want us to get to the point where that's a clear divider. People already know what it is. So moving on to the next thing. So we need to change that. We have learned that we need to start early. We have learned that Gen Z are an amazing resource that we must tap into continuously. So how do we become relevant to all the generations? If it's older people, they like to listen to radio. We won't mention some of those shows that come on other TV stations because we are not supposed to advertise. How are we plugging into those spaces to then discuss it? Are we speaking the right language? And when I say right language, we are all speaking here in English. If you ask me to break into Swahili, even the building will empty because of the laughter. My Swahili is not great, but my Kikuyu is. So if I went to a Kikuyu station and I was asked certain questions, of course there'll be English interference, but I would be able to respond to certain things. Are we going into those spaces? Are we going to the spaces where people congregate? Because we have to go there. Don't expect people to come to you. Are we speaking to people where they're at about the issues that affect them? So if we're going into a place to talk about, civic education, just don't go and say you have these rights, you have these rights. No, ask them, that fertilizer you are given, what happened to your shamba? What happened to your shamba? Do you know that you're paying the public debt thing? You who's somewhere in Ushago who doesn't even know how the expressway looks or the SGR, and you'll never use it. For people to understand those issues broken down so succinctly to the point where they understand them completely. So there's still room for it. Whose responsibility is it? It is all our responsibilities in the different spaces that you're in to actually push and discuss them. Of course, there's a higher responsibility for those of us who decided that our career is going to be human rights work. Because then we have decided that is our burden to carry because we want this country to go forward. So how we do it, needs to be more coordinated. Instead of having, actually, there are 3 people in this village who have come to do civic education. Why don't you come together? The resources are getting scarce every day. Come together and decide how are you going to do it so that we maximize on resources and also information and knowledge. As he said, 1 minute videos. There are all these great content creators who are doing such great work. During the time of the PFM, it was in almost every vernacular language, translated. And that was such a powerful thing. So why are we not doing that when it comes to the things about voting? And we need to start pushing for it now. The challenge that we must acknowledge, though, is this. People sometimes have to balance. Do I eat or do I do this sort of work? So the economic empowerment, where you're feeling, I need to eat, human rights does not necessarily feed me. So we have to get to that balance of when does it matter to you? Because, if you're going to tafuta, as we all know, but then as you tafuta and you're just in the shamba la mawe, as they call Nairobi, remember, if your rights were respected, maybe it wouldn't be shamba la mawe, it would be shamba of harvest and plenty.
Okay.
Yeah, so we need to also take that into consideration, find a way to make people understand what it means.